Tara, weather forecast today.
Today's forecast, a lot of sunshine, blue skies, marine clouds. Just a perfect day to go outside and relax. That's your forecast. We'll be right back.
Yeah, sunny days, sunny days, sunny days. No clouds in the sky, about to get away. Feels like it's been a freaking decade.
Welcome back to another episode of The Social Beaches. I'm Kelly Bowling.
And I'm Carolyn Smith.
And we're with the Coastal Estate team. And we sell real estate along the Space Coast and down into the Treasure Coast in Sebastian and Vero Beach. And if you're looking to buy or sell a home, please give us a call, 321-422-2160. Or you can email us at hello@coastalestateteam.com. Yep. And today we're going to talk about neighbors. Good neighbors, bad neighbors, also known as your Karens and Kens. But we're going to give Ken a new name because Barbie and Ken is super hot right now.
Yes.
And I feel like
Ken is like a sweet name. Well, not that Karen's not a sweet name, but
it is. But I feel like we got to rename it. And based on experiences I have had, we're going to rename the Kens the Richards.
Yes.
And I'm sure you can understand
nothing
why.
against the nice Richards.
Yes.
There are nothing against the nice
many
Karens.
nice Richards. And one of my favorite clients' names is Karen. So.
Yes. And one of my best friends growing up is named Karen, and she's still super sweet. Mm-hmm. And how did it get? Did we figure out how Karen came to be?
It's just a dub, and I saw like an article that talked about how this came to be, and it's supposedly people might see us this way as privileged white women who are judging people of another race, like Black, Asian.
Oh, is it supposed
Indian.
to be another race? Because I feel like Karens now are like.
Well, it's everything now.
Yeah, now it's
But
everything.
initially it was like the one that I saw was there was a white woman who called the police on an 8-year-old girl who was selling water or lemonade or something on the side of the street. And she was
Seriously.
Yeah, she was a little girl of color. And she got referred to as Permit Patty. There was another white woman that called the police on some Black neighbors who were having a cookout, a family get together in their backyard, and she got referred to as Barbecue Becky. So I think Karen
it doesn't have to be just Karen. Yeah,
I think it just became like the general meme. And then remember when they used to talk about like the Karen haircut, which was actually Kate Gosselin's old hair.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, why didn't they just call it a Kate then? Because she was Kate. But I don't know. That's beside the point. So it just became like one of those Urban Dictionary kind of things, I think. And then Ken was added to it because I think it's a K name. And they're like, well, what can we call it?
Ken is not.
I just don't feel like that fits.
No. So we're going to do Karen and Richard.
Yeah.
So just so you know, Karen and Richard. And if you're Karen married to a Richard, we're not discussing you. We're not talking about you. This is not directed towards you.
It's just a name for something.
Yes.
You know?
It's
we like have to have. It's more like an adjective than anything.
and it's funny because we'll watch, on TikTok or one of the videos we'll see, and somebody will be like, I got to see a real Karen in the wild, a real live Karen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, have I ever really seen anybody? And I have seen people be nasty to people that I'm like, really?
For sure.
And nasty to a salesperson or nasty to just another human being. And you're like,
it's uncomfortable to witness. It really is uncomfortable to watch. I saw one on TikTok the other day, and it was like my Karen neighbor coming to knock on my door at 1:30 in the morning. And she was this little old lady. She could hardly walk, right? And she was, she was an older woman.
Yeah.
And she's dinging their Ring doorbell over and over and over and over and then knocking. And finally, he comes to the door. He's like, and he knows her name, like it's his neighbor. He's like, what are you doing? She was like, could you please turn off this light? I can't sleep. He's like, you're ringing my doorbell like a crazy person at 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And she's like, I can't sleep. I need to sleep. I'm tired. He goes, I have to be at work in 3 hours. Can you just go home?
Yeah.
And she's just like not having it. And she's like, I'm going to call the police. He's like, I wish you would.
Yeah.
And then she just shakes her head and turns around. She, wobbles on over home. And I'm like, I'd be afraid to do that because especially in Florida with our stand your ground laws.
Oh, yeah.
If your light is on and it's shining on my house, guess what? That's why I have shades.
Yes, that's why I have shades. Or I'm going to go to another bedroom or sleep on the couch or whatever.
Get an eye mask.
Yeah, we see, people fight with their neighbors and, as realtors, oftentimes we're showing property and somebody's like, well, how are the neighbors? Well, we don't know.
We don't usually know.
We don't know. And here's the thing I want to say is that you could have the most amazing neighbors and they can move.
This is true.
They can move and you get a neighbor who's not the most amazing neighbor. So you just don't know. It's luck of the draw. And
there's actually no requirement of us to disclose Karen or Ken or Richard neighbor.
Yeah.
Because that's all relative. Like he might really just have some personal vendetta against that particular neighbor. They had a falling out over something silly maybe. Right. And the new people that move in, he might be super chill with.
Yeah.
So I had this happen on a listing where the house was for sale. The son was helping the parents dispose of the property. And he was staying there. Mom and dad had already moved into their assisted living facility, but he was staying there finishing cleaning up and all of that. Showings were happening. And I don't care how many times you put it in the instructions, park in the driveway.
Right.
Do not park in front of anywhere on the neighbor's side, because we did put that in there.
Neighbors don't like that, especially in like a 55 plus.
Well, this wasn't even, it was just a normal, it was an HOA, but it was a normal neighborhood. Yeah. But this, I would get phone calls multiple times a day from the neighbor. And I don't want to make him upset.
Right.
And I don't want to tell him he's being ridiculous.
Right.
I want to be empathetic to his concerns.
Right.
But it got to be a lot. And I don't remember his name, but it was probably Richard. And, he was like, they're doing it
awesome.
Again. And I actually had an agent call me. She was like, the neighbor just came out. He was super rude. And I apologized because she had parked near his mailbox. And he was very concerned that he was not going to be able to get his mail that day.
Right. Because the mailman won't get out of the car. I mean, come on.
Well, and I'm like, I said, I'm so sorry that they are not following the instructions. Aside from me standing there doing traffic control during every showing,
there's nothing I can do.
There's nothing I can do, and I'm so sorry about that. I said I will continuously make notes. I will text them and remind them before they get there, which I did do, that please do not
People
park.
Forget. If you're showing 10 houses, you forget,
Oh, for sure.
I had somebody years ago, and I was a newer realtor, and this man came out from across the street. So normally we don't park in the driveway. First of all, we don't know if the people have left yet. So sometimes they're parked in their garage. We park in the driveway. We block them in.
Yeah.
Also, some people don't like you to park in their driveway. So normally, as a realtor, or I leave the driveway clear for my client to park there if we're not riding together.
Thing, we're told park on the street.
Yeah. Yeah. So I parked on the street. I was in front of that house, and this man came out and gave me so much hell because what idiot parks in the street and not in the driveway. And I'm just looking at this man like,
a lot of us.
Yeah. Now I have more sense about me. I would have had something to say. But at the time, I just was like, what do I even say to that?
Well, yeah.
What do you even say to that? But people, and he was a Ken, Richard.
Yes. It's embarrassing. Honestly, I feel like I've had more interactions with the Kens, Richards than I have with the Karens, because I had these clients with me who were from out of the area. I was riding them in my vehicle. It was pouring rain. And they wanted to see a building that was being constructed for a condominium.
Yeah.
And you can't access the actual property that it's on because it's all dirt. There's no parking lot there yet.
Don't park in the neighboring condo.
Well,
did you?
I pulled in. I didn't even park.
Yeah.
I was literally foot on the brake. Brake lights are on. I'm not even in park,
You're just
but I'm just
looking.
there and
right.
I'm pointing.
Right.
And then I hear something, but I can't tell where it's coming from. I'm like, is that the rain? Did I hear something? So then I glance up, and there's a man standing on a side balcony overlooking like the area that we're in.
Right.
And he's pointing at me. And I'm like, he must have something to tell me.
Right.
Okay. Roll the window down. You can't park there.
Yeah.
And this is private property. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm just showing them this, and we are out of here. Mm-hmm. And he's reading me the riot act. And both of the people that were in the car were like, we don't want to live next door to that.
Right. Right.
Richard.
And that's why, I mean, and unfortunately in condos, and not that all condos are this way, but when you get a large group of people sort of living in this communal environment, there are some people who decide that they're in charge, which is where condo commandos.
Well, he did tell me that he was on the board, so I'm sure he's very important. And yes,
he's very important.
Yes,
he's a VIP or a VIR. Very important, Richard.
There you go. The other thing you see in these neighborhoods, people using the Nextdoor apps to complain about poop on their lawn.
Yeah.
It is disrespectful. If you're going to walk your dog, please clean up after it. I have dogs.
Yeah.
They only go in my yard. I don't walk them. I'm lazy, so they walk themselves.
That's how I am. I'm like, I'm not walking because I don't want to clean up poop. I'm not walking because that requires me walking.
Yes. I'm not trying to do that. Walking. No. But, clean up after your pets, or like if your kids are running around trampling on people's yards, don't let your kids go out ding dong
But
ditching.
did you see? So I just yesterday, and I was like, what? I missed that. So this guy just got convicted of these 3 teenagers who were ding dong ditching. Talk about it. And he chased them in his car and ran them over, killed them, all 3 of them.
That's awful.
He just got convicted yesterday. Yeah,
man.
An older man, and I'm like, these are kids playing a prank.
What's that movie with Clint Eastwood on his porch?
Oh, get off my yard or get off my lawn.
Yeah.
And they're like thanking him for like protecting them and everything. And he's like, just get off my lawn, get off my yard. Yeah.
Yeah. And you see people will have like little sign reminders, like don't,
private
pick up after
property,
your pets or stuff like that. So my husband has, in his older age, become somewhat of a Richard.
Old.
He's getting there.
That's funny.
So he decided to build like a, half circle driveway.
Circle drive, yeah.
Because of the boat, and it's easier to kind of come in, pull up, and then get where you need to go. And we have the space for it. So he put it into the apron and the whole 9.
Yeah.
And then he got really mad that people were using it as a turnaround. We live on a major highway. And sometimes people miss their turns.
Yeah.
He knows this. I moved in. I miss the turn every time into our driveway. So I'm having to go turn around somewhere.
Yeah.
But people will miss their turn or go too far. It's hard to see the addresses.
And they look for a circle drive to turn around.
Where can I turn around? So they'll pull in, and they're not usually very cautious. So they'll run over the grassy portion that's in the middle. And that's what really gets his goat is when that happens. Like, he's like, they're like coming through here hot like that and tearing up my lawn. I'm like, you sound old right now.
You sound like Clint Eastwood in Dirty Harry or whatever that is.
He had enough. He had enough. He went out and he bought these big posts that he painted white, and he bought this cable, and we got these giant signs. They're like 24 by 24.
No way. You have
octagon shaped off Amazon that says like no U-turns, no turnarounds, private property, no trespassing. It says all the things. We ordered them on Amazon, and they're reflective. And as long as he's got the cable there, usually we're good. Some people will pull in thinking they can get through, and they're like, oh, shoot. So then they back up, and then they go out. I actually was trying to come home one day, and there's a giant SUV. I'm trying to turn in, and I can't because somebody's in my driveway trying to pull out onto A1A, and I'm just sitting there waiting like, who are you? Why are you in my lawn? And then they went across the street because there was a motel across the street. So maybe they thought they were coming to my motel.
It's not a Motel 6, people. It's a nice motel on the ocean. Yeah.
I don't know if I would say nice, but it's a motel on the ocean.
It looks nice on the outside.
I've read some Google reviews. That's all I have to say. The people that run it are very nice.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, and then outside of Nextdoor app, the Facebook neighborhood groups.
Oh my gosh,
we used to be in one when we lived in an HOA.
I won't do Nextdoor because I'm like, you go on Nextdoor, and I'm like, no, not doing it.
They're complaining about their neighbors. They're also complaining about services that they've hired that either did a good job or not a good job. Usually it's the not a good job.
Right. People are slow to praise and quick to complain.
I get a lot down our way. You might get this your way too. People that are driving too fast. And they'll take photos
down the street
of their car and the license plate. There's actually a group on Facebook. Have you seen it? It's called Brevard Idiot Drivers.
Oh, no, I've missed that.
Go join that. It's entertaining.
No.
They'll talk about like people parking not correctly.
People have a thing against people, like I'll see people complain, like, can you believe these idiots back in parking? And I'm like, are we not, is that like, I'm not a back in park. I'm a terrible parker. I just want you to know if the person's parked crooked, it's probably me. But these people back in parking, people hate that.
I don't know why. I feel like it's so much easier to pull out. It's
easier to pull out. It's safer when you're leaving.
Yeah.
Because you can see, who's coming.
There's some places that you're not allowed to do the back end parking. You have to pull in, but yeah, everybody has something to complain about. Yeah. Social media was terrible for that because before you just kept your stuff to yourself or you gossiped quietly around your neighborhood and talked about, can you believe that Becky over there? The way she's hanging her clothes on that clothesline.
Can you believe barbecue Becky?
Right?
Oh, and clotheslines. People hate clotheslines. You can see clotheslines. This is why you and I don't live in an HOA because HOAs have more of that going on.
Yeah, not that we have like trashiness, but there are some things in the front yard that I feel like Tommy needs to move behind the fence line, like his boat cleaning things. Like,
and my falling down mailbox, which Kelly's husband has volunteered to come over with the post holder, and I just got to get the post and
figure that out.
I have to get a new mailbox.
Making decisions is hard. For a mailbox. It's important. It's going to be a permanent fixture for a long time.
So right now it just looks like a piece of garbage. It's like, look at that nice house with that mailbox.
Well,
that's like
maybe we could just put your
Beverly
trash
Hillbillies.
can in front of it, and you could set a new mailbox on top of the trash can.
My trash can, like I looked at it this morning, I'm like, what's wrong with my trash can? And it's like hanging on by the lids, by like a thread, like one of the things.
If you call them, they'll replace it and fix it.
They'll replace it and fix it. I know. So I was like, Kyle, like, do you think you could...
Just handle it, please.
Do you think we look like what's between the mailbox and the trash can out by the mailbox? Is like, who are these people? What does the inside of their house look like? I promise it looks good.
It's better. It's better. Yeah.
It's better. So if you live next door to a Karen or Ken, what can you do? I would say you just try and deflate the de-escalate.
With kindness.
Yeah.
So I was listening to the armchair expert the other day.
Yeah.
And he had his wife, Kristen Bell, on there, and they have a grumpy neighbor. Oh. And she's like, we just kill him with kindness. And she goes, it's not in the way that I think that you think I mean it. And she gave an example of how they were at a restaurant in Nashville that's apparently like a lot of the country clubbers go there to eat. So they're dressed very country clubbish, but it's not a fancy restaurant. So you can go very casually.
Right.
And so there was a gentleman who was country club at the table near them and was just giving them dirty looks the whole time. And they noticed.
Yeah.
And so he got up to go to the restroom, this other guy. And so they went and pulled the waiter for their table and was like, hey, we're going to pay that guy's bill. So we're going to take care of it while he's there. So they did. And then he comes back to the table and he's informed, your tab has been paid. And he's like, well, who did that? And then they point over at Dax. And he was like, I'm sorry that my appearance interfered with your meal. That's what he meant by killing him with kindness.
Have you seen
the passive aggressiveness
on the like TikTok videos where they're like the people are beeping at them because they're taking too long to order at the drive-thru?
Oh, yes.
So then they pay for the person's meal and then they take the meal. They take the meal. So they come to the drive-thru and they're like, they take their meal and the next meal. So when the person pulls up,
there's nothing there.
They have to
Yes. I love that. That's actually a great trick. I've never had that happen to me because I feel like I'm not super slow with ordering. Like, I know what I want. Let's get it over with.
Yeah, we're fast at the drive-thru. Yeah. But if you had kids or something or people were indecisive, the people are sitting there laying on the horn.
Like if it's your first time and maybe you don't know what they have.
Yeah.
You know, like every time my kids make me go through like a Wendy's drive-thru, I don't know what they have. Like, what do you want? Where is that at?
Right. Don't go to Wendy's. Go to Culver's.
That's so far.
It is far.
So far.
We have a Wendy's on the beach.
Yeah.
How did we end up with a Wendy's by the beach?
It's just been there forever.
It has not been there forever.
No, it's been there as long as I can remember.
Yes. Well, when I was growing up, there was no Wendy's by the beach. I think someone paid someone to put it who puts a Wendy's oceanfront? Literally, that Wendy's is oceanfront.
It is. Yeah, that's prime real estate right there.
Yeah, somebody needs to be selling that and putting something better there.
Well, you know, the surf style that's right next door, that's getting torn down to build a bigger surf style. Somebody's laundering some money there.
Yeah, somebody's doing something because I don't know who's going there. Again, oceanfront.
Yeah.
You got to wonder.
I do wonder.
I wonder too. Mm-hmm. When we're not being Karens.
We're gossiping quietly amongst each other.
We're being Kelly and Carolyn.
We're not putting that on the Facebooks or the next doors. We're doing it like the old way, gossiping in private.
Gossiping in private, yeah. So if you have something to gossip about us in a good way. Hey, you want to buy or sell real estate? Kelly and Carolyn.
That's right.
Yeah. So, all right. Is that it for us?
I think that's it for today.
Okay. Don't forget, reach out to us if you have any real estate questions or you'd like to buy or sell. And we will see you next time, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Cheers.
Sunny days, no clouds in the sky, but